Hey guys, so today I decided to make a different kind of video, a different type of video I meant to say, where I talk about my thoughts of the Daniel Craig James Bond movies. Why? Because No Time to Die is almost here. It will be released on October 8th in the US. I don't know about the UK. Let me know when does it release in the UK, but if we get it first, well, sucks to be you. Sorry. Okay, that was very rude of me. I'm sorry. I did not mean that. Okay, but please be patient, and yeah, I'm being patient as well. I hope I will see this movie in theaters, because if I do, this will be my first time seeing a James Bond movie in theaters. I want to get that experience. Many people has, and yeah, and I'm here, and to I guess show support or promote it. I guess I don't know what to say. Like, in a weird way, promote the movie by making a video of sharing my thoughts on the previous Daniel Craig Bond movies from 2006 to 2015. And two of them I love, and two of them I like, but are flawed. And I will get to those, and I will say which ones are those when I get to them. So, yeah, and yeah, Daniel Craig. And so yeah, this will be, No Time to Die will be Daniel Craig's fifth and final James Bond movie, because after that he is done with the franchise. He will never play Bond ever again, in movie-wise, but I don't know about, maybe like skits or a parody or something like that, or video games, or I don't know. Maybe he might, maybe those will be like the only times we'll get to see Daniel Craig as Bond again. But movie-wise, he is done with the character. He's done. After No Time to Die releases, he's finished. And it's a search for the new Bond. And I'm scared of who's the new Bond. Because I want to like the new Bond. I hope the new Bond does a great job. Hopefully not bad. Because, again, I want to like a Bond movie. Okay, come on. Again, it's sad to hear that Daniel Craig is leaving after No Time to Die. But if he wants to move on, I don't know if Daniel Craig actually does want to move on to the Bond franchise, and if he does, let me know. If that's the case, that's fine. It's his body, it's his choice. He gets to do whatever he wants. If he wants to move on and wants to do more projects than just James Bond, then let him. It's fine. It's fine. A lot of actors do that, and it's understandable, too, because, when you're tired of being in the franchise for a while, you're just like, yeah, I don't want to stick around anymore. I just want to get out. And that's probably what Daniel Craig is thinking. But, hey, he had his time. He had fun with those movies. So yeah, so to honor Daniel Craig as Bond, I will share my thoughts on the previous four Daniel Craig Bond movies. So anyways, let's start. So the first one is Casino Royale, released in 2006, the same year as Rocky Balboa. I will say that's my favorite movie of 2006, because I love the ending of Rocky Balboa. I'm not going to spoil it. I'll talk about Rocky Balboa another day, but that is my favorite movie of 2006. This one is close. And yes, I love this movie. This movie is without a doubt one of the best installments of the franchise. I absolutely loved it. It was a great introduction to Daniel Craig's James Bond. Apparently, Quentin Tarantino was supposed to direct the movie. He wanted it to film it in black and white. He wanted it to take place in the 1960s. He wanted Pierce Brosnan to play as Bond again. And he wanted Uma Thurman as Vesper. But because of Brosnan leaving the franchise and Eon wanted to reboot the franchise, they did not go with Tarantino's route. Though I do like to think the opening, which was in black and white of the final product, I do like to think that's a little reference of what could have been Tarantino's version if Daniel Craig was Bond, and Quentin Tarantino directed. Again, it's interesting. I would like to see his version, but sadly we will never see his version, because the end result, they chose this. And I loved it. Again, it's a great movie. The end result was amazing. I loved it. I think this is a great movie. There are a few flaws here and there. I'll get to the few flaws. one of the things I love is Daniel Craig's performance. I thought he did a great job as Bond. He actually gave a shit. He wasn't doing it for a paycheck, unlike Arnold with the last two Terminator movies, or Bruce Willis with A Good Day to Die Hard, or Stallone with Rambo Last Blood. Again, it's like here Daniel Craig showed that, you know what, he gives a shit. I'm not doing this for money. I want to show that I like this franchise, and I will actually give a shit. And yes, he actually does. And look at this. Here, you see, and I love this cover also. We also got the back here, and we even got a quote here, which, I may as well read it. I mean, you'll probably read it. It says, Daniel Craig is the best Bond in the franchise's history. I can sort of agree, but I still think Sean Connery is the best. I don't know. To me, Sean Connery is more iconic, but Daniel Craig is the best modern Bond. I guess I can say that so far. I don't know. Whoever's the next one, I don't know. Part of me says I don't think he's going to be as good as Daniel Craig, but this is directed by Martin Campbell, who previously directed GoldenEye. Maybe that's why I loved it, because I love GoldenEye also. That's my favorite Bond movie. This one just couldn't top that one. But I did love Casino Royale, because, I mean, even though Casino Royale's action wasn't action-packed, wasn't a lot, but when the action was there, it was really fun. It was really fun. Martin Campbell brought his charm to the franchise once again for the second time. I know he wants to do another one with a new Bond actor, and I would be curious to see that. I would be curious to see what Martin Campbell has in mind. And who knows, until it is confirmed that he will direct the next Bond film with a new Bond, who knows? We'll just have to wait to see if it'll be confirmed or not. But anyways, yeah, back to Casino Royale. So again, this movie was so good. The action was really fun. The chemistry between Bond and Vesper was great, and honestly, the best chemistry of the Daniel Craig Bond movies, like with Bond and the Bond girl, because with the sequels they just couldn't really do it really well. I mean, the close is Spectre, but I will say that one did add some flaws. But I'll get to that. But here I thought for the most part was perfect. I thought they had chemistry. I actually did care to see them. I honestly wanted to see them get married, hopefully, but sadly they don't, because Vesper dies in the end, and I'm just like, no. Yeah, that is my biggest flaw with the movie, is that Vesper dies in the end. Yeah, my biggest flaw is Vesper dies in the end, just like On Her Majesty's Secret Service with Tracy. Remember that scene, in the ending scene, where she gets shot and it ended it there. And although I do like On Her Majesty's Secret Service also as well, but yeah, that was also my big flaw with that movie. But same here. Like, my big flaw with the movie is that they kill her off, and I'm just like, why? Do we really need to kill her off? Did she die in the novel or not? I never read Ian Fleming's Casino Royale, so I don't know if she died or not in the novel. Let me know if you've read the novel. But in here, yeah, she dies, and she drowns. And it's emotional, but at the same time, like, did she really need to die? I mean, you could have given her, we could have at least. Nah, never mind. It's just, again, that I would say, that her death scene, I would say, is the biggest flaw I have. Few flaws here and there, but more positives is the soundtrack was great, especially the theme song, You Know My Name, from Chris Cornell, which may rest in peace, Chris Cornell. He sadly passed away 4 years ago. He did an amazing job writing the theme song and singing the theme song. Well, David Arnold also helped write the theme song. And, You Know My Name, honestly, is one of the best theme songs, one of the best Bond theme songs I have ever heard in my life. I really love it a lot. Alright, may rest in peace, Chris Cornell. It's sad that he passed away. Another positive is the villain, Le Chiffre. I don't know how to pronounce his name right, so I'm just gonna call him Le Chiffre, or Le Chiffre. So Le Chiffre, I would say, is a great Bond villain. I honestly think while I wouldn't really say he was the strongest Bond villain, I would say he was still a pretty interesting villain. I love his looks. His looks I thought were really interesting. He made it look like a classic Bond villain. For some reason, his looks reminded me a little bit of Battlefield with the scar a little bit, and also like, and also has like a milky pupil. I don't know, it just reminded me of an old school Bond villain, along with Biofeld. Yeah, again, like, maybe a few flaws here and there. So yeah, so while Le Chiffre isn't really the best Bond villain, and probably I would make, I don't know, he's either my third or second favorite Bond villain of the Daniel Craig era. I don't know, it's hard because of either Biofeld or Le Chiffre, but I don't know, but I'd still love Le Chiffre. I think he was an interesting Bond villain. I would have loved to seen him more. Like, I would have loved to see more of him, but but of course they kill him off. Just like every, Bond villain. Let's be honest. They mostly kill every Bond villain, but yeah. Again, he was an interesting villain. I wish we could have seen more, but overall, great villain. There's not much problems with it. I mean, it was incredibly well written. Again, huge credit to the writers that they worked so hard to try to get this direction of Bond. Let's take it to the new level. Let's make it more darker. And, let's make a fun and entertaining movie. Again, I felt that. Again, like, that's the thing is that, yeah, they put a lot of effort of this movie. I think this movie is great. I love it. Again, the action was great. The cast do a great job. The soundtrack is great. The theme song is great from Chris Cornell. The villain was great. Daniel Craig was great as Bond. And overall, again, despite my few flaws, including Vesper's death, which I wish they didn't kill her off, overall, the movie, it's a great movie. Definitely one of the best installments. I love this movie. Definitely a must-watch. So, the next one is Quantum of Solace. And Quantum of Solace, I will say, is a movie I like. But I will admit, this is a step down to Casino Royale. Oh, I may as well at least show the back. And there's even a quote there, say, the perfect Bond film from Premiere. And honestly, not really. I don't think it's the perfect Bond film. But I did like it. I don't think it's as bad as most people say it is. It's not a bad movie. I think it's enjoyable. I think Daniel Craig still does a great job as Bond. The action, I think, was really fun. Though there is one action moment that I'll admit is not that good, which I'll get to when I get to the flaws. Another big positive, the Bond girl right here, Camille Montez. I'm not sure if it's pronounced Camille or Camille Montez, but I'm just going to call her Camille. Camille Montez, I think she's an underrated Bond girl. I don't think she is that bad as people say she is. I actually thought she was pretty hot, not gonna lie. I'm just being honest, alright? Yes! Maybe I would say she's probably the hottest Bond girl out of the Daniel Craig era. I'll say that. So yeah, I absolutely loved her. Though I'll admit something, which when I get to the flaws. Another thing I did like about it, the soundtrack, while not as good as Casino Royale soundtrack, even though David Arnold comes back again one last time to do the soundtrack for a Bond movie, it's still good. I think the soundtrack for the most part is pretty good. I think it's still, fun, and the story at times can be interesting. They can be interesting. Some of the character development is pretty good at times. The action scenes, again, like I said, for the most part, is good. They're really fun. It's directed by Mark Foster. Again, I can't remember what else he did. I know he did other movies that I think he did a movie that I've seen, but I just can't remember what it is. But, of course, he directed this one. Again, some positives I can say for this is that, yeah, the performances, the action, the soundtrack, the acting, the writing at times was pretty good. The story at times has some interesting moments, and it's not a bad story. It's a pretty good story, but overall, it's a flawed movie. I mean, again, it's like, okay, the problem with this movie is that at times they it's at times the story can go a bit fast, meaning like we don't have time to do this, so let's just move on. Let's go to the scene. Okay, let's go there and here. It's like, okay, can you chill it out a bit, please? Like, give us time to get to know these characters. And sadly, at times the character developments can lack. And I'll admit, as much as I love Camille Montes, at times her development does lack. I'll admit that. And yeah, I mean, I do wish she had a stronger relationship with Bond. Sadly, in this movie, the relationship, while it isn't bad, I do think the relationship is pretty good. It isn't as great as Vesper and Bond, honestly. And I do think it's a step down. I do think their relationship is a step down from the relationship in Casino Royale, which I thought was incredibly well written. But here, it's like, I mean, it's not, again, it's not a bad movie. I like the movie. I think it's an enjoyable movie. It's just, I do think at times it goes fast, where it's like it doesn't give you the time to get to know these characters, and, you know, it just goes fast. And yeah, the movie does feel a bit rushed. The opening scene with the car chase, honestly, I would say that's the only bad action scene. I have to agree with Harry Thomas when he reviewed Quantum of Solace, because, yeah, he did say that it was edited poorly, and I'll admit, watching it again, it really is poorly edited. It felt rushed, you know? Again, it's like, yeah, this movie did feel a bit rushed at times. It's like they were aware of Casino Royale's success, and they want to do another success fast as possible, and it's like, okay, let's move on. Come on, we need to do this quick. And I'm just like, I mean, can you calm it down a bit, please? Because, you know, we need to know more about these characters, you know, so people can love it. And sadly, I didn't love this movie, but I did like it. I think it's enjoyable. Like I said, it's just, I do think this movie is a flawed movie, and I think it's the weakest of the Craig Bond movies. Another weak aspect is Dominic Green. Honestly, I would say, well, not a terrible villain. I don't think he was bad. It's just, I mean, of the Daniel Craig Bond villains, I would say he's the weakest. He's honest, I mean, he wasn't really that intimidating. He didn't really show a threat to Bond. He wasn't really that intimidating. He wasn't memorable. He wasn't, again, it's just, he just wasn't as good as Auric Goldfinger or Ernest Bielefeld or Alec Trevelyan or anyone. Either, just any villain. It's like, or almost any villain, I guess. But it's just, again, Dominic Green, I will say, is one of the weakest aspects. It's just, he just wasn't as intimidating as Le Chiffre was, or even Raul Silva or Ernest Bielefeld from Spectre. You know, the new iteration of Bielefeld. So yeah, that's one of the weakest aspects. I'll admit that. Another one is Another Way to Die. The theme song, honestly, I thought was poorly chosen. I did not think it fit in. It did not fit in for what kind of movie it was. It felt too edgy, honestly. And I'm the guy who really liked the theme song of Die Another Day from Madonna. I actually think she did a great job with the theme song, and honestly, it was pretty catchy. Here, it's just, I don't know. It's not a bad song. It's just, again, it just did not fit for a Bond theme song. It just did not fit in. It just sounded way too edgy for a Bond movie. And I agree with my friend Harry Thomas, you know, when he reviewed it, that, yeah, the theme song was way too, again. So, yeah. Hell, there's even rejected theme songs that honestly sounded like a Bond movie. Or sounded like a Bond theme. And honestly, they should have been used instead of this. So, yeah, again, I'm not going to cover more until I review these movies separately. And one last thing I will mention for this is that they toned down the dark tone. Meaning, this isn't as dark as Casino Royale was. It's like they lowered the dark tone down. You know, they were like, okay, maybe Casino Royale was too dark. Maybe let's tone it down a bit for the next one. And they did, and honestly, they didn't do it bad. It was actually pretty good, but Again, it wasn't poorly executed. It's just, maybe you should have made it darker. Maybe you should have made it dark again. Like, an example of this movie being less dark was Dominic Green's death, where Bond just takes Dominic Green and leaves him off the desert and gives him your food, or I forgot what it was, and there, and then he just leaves him there, and you know, so we all just assume he died, and I'm just like, what? That's his death? So, really? So he's just gonna die there and just starve to death or something? I don't know. It's like, yeah, really? That's your death scene? Again, it's like Quantum of Solace tried to be less dark. You know, they tried to calm it down a bit. It just didn't really work as well, but it wasn't poorly executed. It just, I mean, again, but because the movie was still interesting, it was still fun, but again, it's like, I mean, you could have at least given us a satisfying death scene, but this is the weakest death scene of any of the Daniel Craig Bond villains. I mean, Bond films. By far. So, yeah, despite my flaws of, you know, being a step down, it's still an enjoyable movie. I do think this movie is not as bad as many people say it is. I do think Daniel Craig is not, you know, for the most part, Daniel Craig does a great job. I do wish the movie was just as good as Casino Royale was. It felt like this tried to be Casino Royale again, but, you know, but a little bit, you know, but less dark, you know, because of the death scene and, you know, and some of the flaws I had. So yeah, overall, fun movie, but a flawed movie.